Mark, I got to ask you about Jokic's running mate, also your fellow countryman, Jamal
Yes,
Murray. How about his bounce back this season after tearing his ACL the year prior?
it's wild, man, because I can remember last year after a late regular season game in Los Angeles when Denver played them, walking back to the Ritz-Carlton Hotel with Jamal, just the two of us. And he was contemplating at the time whether he should come back and play in the playoffs. And I looked him dead in the eye. I said, "Bro, are you good with this? You ready?" And he just kind of shook his head, said, "No, I don't think I'm going to be there. I don't think I'm going to do it." And to see him wrestling with the doubt that was going on in his mind at the time, fast forward a year and a month or two to where he is now, an NBA champion, and working his way through the rust, through the process to come back. I mean, I said around the All-Star break, I said, you know what? I really think Denver should have three All-Stars. And people laughed at me. I thought it should have been Joker, Jamal, and Aaron Gordon. And I said, why not? They had the best record in the NBA, and they got the top players. So winning has to count for something, right? So, I looked at Jamal at the time and I thought, yeah, I think he deserves to be an all-star. But man, to see the clutch performances that he had along the way, and just another quality guy too, who still is, I think, has a little bit more upside to play out in his career. And I got to tell you this story about Jamal Murray. And I think it's partly why they have such great culture inside that Denver locker room. I have a daughter who plays basketball at San Jose State University who did her ACL at the exact same time as Jamal did. And we were talking about it one day. And he says, Mark, he says, Jones, he says, let's FaceTime her. Let me talk to her, man. I got to gas her up a little bit. And it was such a sweet moment that he was thinking about somebody else at the time during his comeback. It speaks to the quality of locker room they have and the type of person that Jamal Murray is.
Yeah, absolutely. And you saw that the toll that journey took on him, from tearing the ACL to having doubts about his own future with the organization. Mike Malone talking about how Jamal Murray thought, hey, you guys are going to, toss me to the side of the road or trade me. Yeah. And you saw the emotion after that game. As soon as they won, he's emotional. He's emotional up there on the podium. That's that, the unscripted part of sports. What we truly enjoy, that story from overcoming adversity and the trials and tribulations, and ultimately hoisting up that O'Brien trophy. And during that process, establishing himself as an elite shot creator, man. I mean, some of the buckets that I saw Jamal Murray hitting in the playoffs, period. Yeah, he really raised his game, man.
I think teams in the Western Conference now are going to have to recruit and sign free agents and scheme accordingly subsequently to try and slow down that two-man Murray dance that they have with that elbow action. Joker leads the NBA, I think, in elbow touches, elbow scoring, and some of the play actions that they run off of the elbow with those two have become unstoppable. I think between those two and the Embiid-Harden two-man game, those were the two most prolific two-man actions statistically in the NBA this year. And I know in the Western Conference, people are going to have to deal with that now because they're not going anywhere. They're both built for the future. They both signed for a few more years. Long-term, those are the two main cogs. And that I love the way that they play basketball. It's a very unselfish ball movement, player movement. Everybody eats.
I love everything about it. I love that offense. It's even like what you see with the Kings too. I like their offense so much because a lot of off-ball movement. I like watching good offense because it really is like a dance and everyone's in rhythm and they know where everyone should be on the floor. But again, sticking with Jamal Murray, it's crazy to think that this guy has not won any accolades like an all NBA, an all-star. Where do you see that? Like, do you see that in his future, like for next season and stuff like that? I mean, we talk about him having to get, the recognition now as a player in that two-man game, but what do you see for his future right now?
Yeah, I think anytime that you win an NBA championship, your ability to claim an all-star status goes up. regardless. I mean, I think the same thing goes for Aaron Gordon too. But certainly Jamal with his numbers throughout the series. It's so difficult in the Western Conference, right? When you look at the guards, there's not a lot of first timers. Our guy in Sacramento this past season, De'Aaron Fox, was a first timer. He broke in, and I truly believe that it's going to be Jamal's turn to break in next year. The issue becomes if somebody comes in, somebody's going to come off. So who's that going to be? You know, you've got Steph, you've got Dame, you've got Ja. I mean, it's so difficult. You've got Devin Booker. I mean, who are you going to leave off if you're adding Jamal Murray to the equation? But hey, listen, he's walking around with a championship ring now. So outside of Steph, nobody else can say that in the Western Conference and say, I'm coming off. Instead, Booker can't, you know, amongst others.